Welcome to Buzz Talks. I am Anisha Brahma, the founder and editor of Buzz Magazine. I'm also a young adult and a children's author. Joining us today is Apeksha Rao, whose recent release, Along Came a Spider, is India's first YA spy novel. Congratulations, Apeksha, and thank you so much for joining me on Buzz Talks.
Thank you, Anisha. I'm really excited to be on Bus Talk.
Yay!
And this is a long awaited chat happening
Yes.
now.
So, the first thing that we would want to know is what made you take up writing?
I've always been a daydreamer. Like since I was a child, I've been a dreamer, and I would never get bored.
Hmm.
Either I was reading, or even if I had to sit in one place for hours together, I would never get bored because there was always some story going on in my mind.
Oh.
So, so I grew up in Virar. So when you said Malad, it was very close to me because I grew up in Virar and we used to travel like Virar to Churchgate. Imagine the whole journey.
Oh.
I would sit without saying a word when I was a child. I would be looking out of the window and making stories in my mind. So, writing was always there. I knew that at some point in life I would be writing. So,
So, your the very first works of fiction, I know you said that you used to think them in your head, but did you manage to write any of them down and are they available? Because
uh,
first works, I
so
know
what
nobody
happened?
wants to talk about the very first things they wrote.
So the very first thing I wrote was at the age of 7. I wrote a short story about a girl called Guduma, and I sent it to Tinkle. I submitted it to Tinkle, and like most stories that are submitted to Tinkle, it was rejected.
Oh.
And I got a lovely rejection letter from Uncle Pi. So see, at that age, I didn't even know what rejection was and stuff. So I just was really excited that I got a handwritten letter from Uncle Pi saying thank you for sending us a story, but right now we won't be publishing this, but you must keep writing and stuff like that. I was so excited about it. And I said, this is, it was my most precious possession for many years until I lost the letter and, we were moving houses. And when we were moving houses, the letter got misplaced. But after I kept writing scripts and short stories, skits and scripts for plays and short stories for school and college. But I didn't really get into the groove of writing. That was all circumstantial, given a topic, this is what we're going to do a play on, and, write the script for it and stuff. I finally started writing in 2016 when I was in maternity leave.
Oh.
So I have twins, and raising twins. Imagine waking up at night like every 2 hours for to handle two kids. So I think that drove me nuts, and it kind of broke it down in my head, and ideas just started flowing out. And that's when I started writing. So in the middle of the night at 3 a.m., I would be writing short stories, and that's what I started publishing on my blog. So I started blogging before I started writing long form. And I used to take part in blogging challenges. I was part of Write Tribe, which is a group of bloggers. So, so I took part in a couple of the blogging challenges, which is how I also met our common friend Vinay.
Oh.
And so some of the stories can be found in my blog. So if you go to my blog, apeksharao.in, you can find under fiction, you can find some of the stories.
Yeah, we have gone to your website and stalked you quite a lot before making the questions for the interview, of course. Now, Along Came a Spider, it's preceded by a zero point 0.5 novella, Itsy Bitsy Spider. Was that a conscious choice or did you always think that you were going to write a prequel for it?
Oh no, that happened by accident. So what happened was that my book was to be released in on April 14th,
Mm.
2020. And March 22nd or 23rd, it was no 23rd, it was supposed to go to the printer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that very day, the lockdown was announced. The day
Mm.
that it was supposed to go to press, the lockdown was announced. So it was delayed, and then we thought it might come out in June. And again, it got delayed. And because it was supposed to come out in June, because the printers were supposed to reopen in June, I started marketing in May. And I did quite a bit of marketing, and we realized I lose all of that momentum. And you can't do it again. Now, once you start
Yep, yep.
marketing, you can't go back and show the same things. And I had this fabulous plan of character sketches, all of which I started unveiling. So I realized instead of letting it go to waste, and I whined about it for a few days. I cried and whined, Then I realized there are bigger things at stake here. There are people who are losing their lives, and this is a small thing. I it's negligible, and I shouldn't whine about it. So I decided to use up. I had a lot of backstories about Samira, so I decided to use those up and turn those into a novella. That was a prequel. So and it worked really well because it gave people a taste for the book. So the novella released in August, and 1.5 months later, I released the book. So people got quite a nice taste of the book, and it worked like I didn't expect it to work that well. I didn't expect it to generate more marketing momentum for the book, but it did.
That's so cool. Yeah, but a lot of people's books did get pushed back because of the pandemic. It's really nice that you found a workaround around it. You mentioned your the short stories on your blog, and we found that there were a ton of short stories set in the spider universe as well on your blog. So does it actually help intrigue readers, or is it something like once the book is done, we want more? So that is when you say that I go to my website, let me write my sequel in peace.
So it works for both because one is that people in the blogging circle, at least, they knew me because of these short stories that I had written.
Uh-huh.
So I would mostly write these. So when I was part of blogging challenges, also it would always be something about the blackbirds. That was what they were called then. They weren't the spiders; they were the blackbirds. And so people started expecting that from me. So they were like, "When are we getting to read the next blackbird story? What is happening next?" So that kind of became my thing, and that created a lot of interest in the topic. And yeah, now they're all there for anyone who wants to go back and read.
But going to the very base of it, how did the story for Samira get born? Like, did she just roll into your head one fine day and say that, hey, this is me, now you have to write my story?
Okay, so this is something I've been telling a lot since I brought the book out. I When I was a teenager, my biggest and most enduring fantasy was that I was a teenage spy. I was deep undercover. No one knew I was a spy, and I was like this very dowdy teenager with frizzy hair and soda bottle chashma and stuff like that. So I used to tell myself this is my disguise. I'm not really so clumsy that I keep falling down. I'm not really so dowdy. This is all a disguise. And one day I'm here to catch a criminal. One day I want to catch that guy, and get into a fight, and I will drop kick him outside the building, and everyone will be like, "Wow, she's so good at combat. She can't be." My friend used to call me "Gifty Party Ladki" because I would be falling all the time, stumbling around all the time. So I should, because I would be distracted by 1,000 things in my head, and I wouldn't look where I'm walking and stuff like that. And I was like, all that is part of the disguise. So uh, that's how it began. And then when I started writing, I started writing about this group of teenagers who are spies. And at that time, I wasn't really thinking about the group as such. I wasn't thinking about the characters as such. I was thinking more about the mission. So the initial short stories were focused on that. And then I started thinking about one girl called Tina, who's now a secondary character in the first book. So I had written a short story about her childhood in an orphanage, and that was not part of the Blackbirds universe. That was just a separate story. But then I took it into the Blackbirds thing. I wanted to write the first book about her, but this Samira kept popping up, and she was like, write me, and I was like, fine, I'll write you, get you out of the way, then we move on. So that's how it became.
So it is true. The characters do take root in your head and they force you to write.
It pains, man, at times. The complete pain in the butt. Imagine having 5 teenagers living inside your head and fighting inside your head.
I find it hard enough to be a writer while having a full-time job and looking after a cat. I'm really impressed that you have twins and
Yeah.
you managed to do that.
Yeah, I gave up my day job. I'm a homeopath by profession. I gave up my practice because I couldn't manage raising the kids and writing full time and handling clinics. Especially when I moved to Bangalore. In Mumbai, I was practicing full time. 17, I started trying to write a book, and I realized it doesn't work that way. It's not like you go do your work and then come back home and then if you try to write like that, it'll take you 3 years to write one book. And I didn't want that happening. So when I moved to Bangalore, I decided I have to give this my best shot, and that's me sitting at home. And I actually thought after writing Samira's story, I could go back to work. Means, that by then my kids will be slightly grown up and I could start practice. But this one story came out of my head and then many followed. So then I realized this is not going to. So other doctors can treat my patients, but no one can tell my stories the way I can tell. So now it's full time later.
So again, from your website, like we said that we have stalked your website a lot. We gathered that you are busy writing 3 different books, healing from 3 different genres. One is a middle grade book, a chick lit featuring a detective, and a horror novel that has apparently contributed to you not sleeping at all.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
do
yeah.
you
Very
find it?
scary.
Yeah. But then do you find it difficult to write in multiple genres, or is it easy to switch from one to another?
So see, what has been happening is now I've been told by a lot of people who know what they're talking about that it's not very good for an author to be multi-genre
Hmm.
because publishers don't know how to slot you because their distributors don't know how to slot you. Distributors are like, what do we do with this? Who do we sell this book to? Do we sell this to children? Do we sell this to horror fans? Do we sell this to fans of thrillers? It's very difficult for them. And even for fans and readers, they expect a certain kind of book from you, and then when you write something else that is different, their expectations are it's difficult for them to adjust to that, and they get upset. Having said all that, what do I do with the story in my mind? I don't write by label, right? So
Right.
if I have one story that's about a teenager, and then I have another story about like the thriller that I'm writing that is set in the 19th century in a palace. It's a murder mystery in a palace. So I have that story in my mind that has to be told. But at the same time, I've got a young adult horror and I've got a middle grade horror. Both the stories are different and they need to be told. So now I'm like, I will just write my stories. If someone takes them, they can take them and publish them. If they don't want to, I'll KDP it. And if it's causing too much problem, I'll have like 4 or 5 pseudonyms and publish under pseudonyms.
That's a
I
very
will
good
not stop
idea.
writing what I want. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the other problem is, how actors get typecast. I think even that happens to authors a lot.
Yes,
Even
yes.
if you want to experiment, they'll keep saying like the guy who used to write Winnie the Pooh. No one could accept him as an adult novel writer, and he tried and it failed because
Yeah,
everyone's like, he writes Winnie the Pooh.
absolutely. And probably in India, you can write one genre in adult and you can write children.
Yeah.
Those two are acceptable. Okay.
Yes.
But
Yes.
within the adult category, if you try to, jump genres, you had it. So if I write a chick lit, then I get labeled as a chick lit writer. And if I want to write a thriller and it's if it's a chick, a cozy mystery, publishers will take it. But if it's a dark thriller, they'll think you don't have the chops to write this. So why are you writing
True.
it?
It's difficult.
So what are you working on currently, Anisha? What are you working on currently?
Oh, so currently, I am writing the sequel to this book called The Backyard Tales Part 2. It was inspired by all the cats that I ever had. So it was about a very
Wow.
spoiled young girl who has a bond with a cat and she finds out that she's actually a descendant from another world. Very outlandish, but it was inspired by my cats.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
And the other thing is, I have been extremely unlucky in love. I keep falling for the wrong people. So it was then I decided to leave Calcutta, move to Bombay, thought things would get better. It just got worse. So the book is called Rashi Ghoshal Will Find Her Prince Charming, and it is about a girl who tries doing all sorts of nonsense to find her Prince Charming and meets the goddess of love who says that, listen, if you do not take care of yourself, nobody is ever going to love you. And then it's basically a game of wits between the goddess and this girl.
Wow. And I love the title. I really love the title.
Yeah, it came to me when I
I want
first
to
moved
read
to
this.
Bombay. I struggled with it for 2 years. Finally, and I finished writing it during the pandemic. I submit. So before, I have a friend who started his publishing house, or rather, he already had his publishing house, and we became friends again. Pandemic ke liye, we all
Huh,
got in touch
huh,
with each other. He asked me to
huh.
send him the book first before I approach other people. He stayed up 2 nights reading it. Said, I love it. I am going to publish it. Don't give it to somebody else." So
Fabulous. When is it coming out? Amazing.
the pre-orders will start in on Valentine's Day.
Fabulous.
It's
I want to
fun.
read this. Huh? It sounds really fun. So the title is brilliant.
I had a lot of fun writing it though. Are you Rashi? Yes, obviously I am. But they also have a hard time believing I would make such bad decisions. But you tend to do that.
Yeah.
So that's very
I mean,
debatable. I've seen
everybody makes bad
extremely
decisions.
smart women do very stupid things for love.
Obviously. And everybody makes bad decisions. It depends on which side of the decision you're on, how that decision affects you in the long run, and probably also retrospectively, hindsight. If say 20 years later, you might be like, oh yeah, it felt bad at that time, but it worked out okay. And or also, it wasn't the worst decision I ever made. I made decisions much worse than that later. So
But yeah, I don't regret decisions at all because I read this somewhere long time ago and it became an inspiration for me. Bad decisions make good stories.
absolutely, absolutely. Hannah.
And as writers, I think that is our fodder.
Yeah, absolutely.
We spoke a little about marketing, especially when before the pandemic hit and sorry, the lockdown happened. So I was about to ask you that, and you actually answered this, whether it is difficult as a multi-genre author to market yourself.
Yeah. So, but I see quite a few authors who are doing it well. Like Anjali Bajaj is doing it very well. I mean, she writes, that woman writes everything. She writes romance, she writes horror, she writes children's books, young adult. And then Kiran Mandal, who's doing that as well. She's also written one horror thriller, and now she's written fun. So I guess there are authors who are doing that, and when they do it, and Anita Nair, who's done it brilliantly.
Oh yes.
She's written literary fiction, and then she's written thrillers, the Inspector Gowda series. So I think I'll just wait for them to do all to establish that fact that authors can jump genres, and then I'll do my little bit as well when I can.
Honestly, why not? If actors can play multi-genres and not get typecast, why do writers have to do it?
Yeah, yeah, really, yeah. It's not fair, but eh.
We were talking about KDP and paperbacks as well. So you know how KDP, I really like KDP, and now they are even
Yes.
allowing paperbacks in India, which is really good. But there is this
Oh, they
never-ending.
have they started,
They started paperbacks in India. Yes, you can actually.
but via Potri or Amazon itself.
Yeah, Amazon itself. So now you can actually
They
get
started.
if
Okay,
you
okay.
self-publish your book on Kindle, you can also get a paperback out as well on your
Really?
own. That's
Okay.
amazing.
Nice, nice. Brilliant. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. But I was going to ask you that do you have a preferred thing that ebooks or paperbacks?
To read, for me
Yes.
to read,
For you
I
to
prefer
read or
ebooks all the time.
yeah.
So that's two different things. See, to read, I would always prefer ebooks because of the convenience. One is I read one book a day, and second is that I read
Wow.
mostly at night. No, but I have no other life. So, I even stopped watching TV now. I don't know, even OTT platforms, I don't know when I've last seen anything. So all I do is read and write because there's no time for anything else. So if there have been times when in the lift I've been reading because I got caught into a good book, and then I didn't want to. For those 30 seconds I will be reading. But so that is where an ebook comes in very handy, convenient, because I can be in the kitchen trying to cook and then waiting for something to boil, and I'll be reading, or in bed at night. So,
That's so nice.
but when it comes to publishing, it's both have their pluses and minuses.
Yep.
So yeah, so traditional publishing, what it gave me is it gave me visibility. The likes of which Kindle will not give, because obviously people need to know you before they discover you on Kindle. No, not many people will go and try a new author unless they heard something about that person. But in a bookstore, if you see a book being displayed, you might go and grab it if the cover grabs you. So that is there, and the validation of knowing that a publisher did think that my book was worth being published. So for a first time author, that helps, because especially when you left a career, a lucrative career, and then you decide to do something that doesn't pay at all, then you're wondering at times, was I an idiot? What was I smoking when I took that decision? And that time it helps when the publisher says, "Han, book theek hai." But KDP gives you so much of freedom, man. It
Yes.
liberates you. you're not dependent on anyone. As long as you do your due diligence, as long as you get your book edited, get a good cover, then there's nothing to hold you back.
The other thing I heard about KDP is you need to be very quick with your turnarounds. Like someone like me who
Yeah.
writes, I can produce one book a year, which is not good if you're trying to make it on KDP.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is that those who, like people like me who've given up a day job and decide that, I want to do only writing,
Writing,
but
yeah.
there will be a point when my kids grow up, right? When my kids grow up, I'm sitting at home with nothing else to do but to write. And that is the time when the book turnaround ensues. Because when you're juggling a day job and writing, that's difficult. But if you're sitting at home and you decide to take time off, I believe I've heard it's very lucrative.
Yeah, I was actually talking to a friend yesterday. You would actually love where I went yesterday. I went to Flora Fountain to the book places because it's open now.
Ah, oh, nice. They're all open now?
They
All
are
the
open,
Gopalas
but
have
they are
come back?
all practicing social distancing. They all have GPay accounts now. So you can GPay them.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So you can GPay them instead of paying with cash. Everybody's
All
kept
my
up with
Harry
the
Potters
times.
from them.
Oh wow.
I don't all my lot of books from footpath.
Yeah, but those are all sick. I am very for buying second-hand books, not pirated books, because that kind
Yeah,
of affects both you and me. But
yeah,
I am all for second-hand books.
exactly. Second-hand books are really. And I remember going and telling the guy, Harry Potter आएगा तो रखना. And he's like, Madam, आपको लगता है आएगा? At the time when Harry Potter was new, you would wait for each book to be released. So, oh yeah, I am of the generation that actually got to see the Harry Potter books being released. Okay, so I was an adult when the first one was released. So,
No, I grew up with Harry Potter. Like I was
yeah,
literally turning older with him every year.
I was already an adult, and I remember one book वाला telling me, ये तो बच्चों का book है. आपको क्या फर्क पड़ता है? आप दो ना बैठो. I want to read it.
Yeah, I got my sister hooked to it. I got my mom hooked to it. I used to go watch the movies with my mother. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I like this conversation so much. Were there
Yeah.
any particular authors who inspired you to become a writer?
I think every good book that I've read, every good book that I've read has made me feel I want to write at some level. Maybe not directly, maybe indirectly, but it gives you the feeling of I can also express myself. After reading this, maybe I want to express myself in a similar way, or sometimes you read a bad book and you're like, I can write better than this. If this can sell you and I can sell, so even that happens. Not naming any names.
No, we can't. I will get into trouble. But I was asked to pick between two writers and say that who do you think is worse? And I'm not answering that.
Obviously.
Well, also the last thing that I want to know is what are you currently reading?
Oh, I'm reading. Have you read Kristen Ashley?
No.
Rock Chick series. Okay, so she is an American romance writer, and I think she got her start also on Kindle, if I'm not wrong, some form of self-publishing, and then it took off in a big way, and now her books are huge. So now she's got like multiple series. So I'm reading her latest Dream Man 2, so Dream Chaser. I'm reading that. So she's big time into the motorcycle clubs and biker chic and the biker life. So her books are all about that. But it's fun, and she has this knack of making you root for her protagonist. And her books are very satisfying because there's always a clear antagonist. So there's always one person who's really bad, and there's satisfaction of the heroine getting her own back and someone fighting for her and making her life so much better in so many ways, and she stands up for herself and does that. And there's almost each book will have at least 3 kidnappings, 3 bombs, 3 shootouts. So there's plenty of action in there. So it's real fun, and there's a lot of snark as well.
I love those. I will check her out
Yeah.
definitely. And finally, do you have any advice for aspiring authors out there?
Oh, I have plenty. I'm the ultimate gyan giver, so that's a dangerous question to ask. No, but the basic advice is read. The first step to writing is reading. And I mean, at one point in my life, I wouldn't have thought this needed to be said out loud. I mean, why would you write if you didn't read? But I'm meeting a lot of authors and, hearing a lot of viewpoints, and people are saying, yeah, I don't read much. I'm not much of a reader, but I have a story to tell. Okay, chances are your story is very original, but you can't learn the craft of writing without reading. If you want to be a good writer, then you have to read a lot and read more than you write. And if you're going to write one book, read 1,000 books before you even try to start writing. And write every single day, even if it's 100 words a day. I'm struggling to follow that, to be honest, but I know the difference that happens when you write regularly. And don't give up. Don't listen to naysayers. Don't listen to anyone who tells you what you should write and why they are not happy with what you write. Just tell them to go climb a tree and write what you want.
That is really good advice, and I also needed to hear it. Every year I do this. That no, I'm going to write every day. I try my best, but my day job is also that of a content writer, so I get very tired of writing after a point.
Ah, obviously. Oh man, how do you do this? Yeah, the whole day, write, and then write some more at night.
There's like you have a lot of stories to tell. So the good thing is that I'm in an ad
Yeah.
agency. I get to say mean things about other things, and then I just thank you so
Nice,
much for joining
nice.
me on Buzz Talks. It has been such a pleasure talking to you. Third time really was the
Same
charm.
here. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me, Anisha. And say hi to the Chief Cuddle Officer, Felix.
Oh yes, he's
Say
roaming
bye
around
to him, brother.
like, ठीक है, खत्म हुआ.
He'll be happy to have you for himself.